All right, hey everyone. Good evening. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the live stream for our 10th grade history final. I hope you guys did okay today with your finals. I hope that the finals so far have gone well. And yeah, it's I hope so far it's been okay. I know you guys have a couple more left, and it's stressful. And I have to say, it's been a tough finals for you guys. Okay, let me talk for a minute about what I'm going to do, what we're not going to do here tonight. I'm not going to reteach content. That's not the point of this. I'm not going to just get up here and talk about content, to talk about materials. I'm happy to steer you guys in the right direction, but I'm not going to use this as a moment to reteach. Okay, there is content and materials that you need from the test, both on the Class IQ page um, and from your notes. The material that your classmates have put together is all up on Haiku, whether it's the materials from the lead up to the First World War, whether it's the interwar period, whether it's the Holocaust material, whether it's the Israel stuff. All that stuff has been on Haiku and is on Haiku. Okay. Let me just make it clear again in terms of the examination. Okay. The exam itself is in three parts. Okay. And to be perfectly clear with the exam, the essay I believe is worth 60% of the final. Okay. So that's important to keep in mind. So it's worth 60% of the 60% of the so that is important. Next is the reading. Okay, you guys have the reading. A lot of the reading questions are going to be reading comprehension. Okay, that's the second thing. Okay, that's going to be worth 20%, 20 points. And the short answer is worth 20 points, 20 points. So really the essay is going to be the most important. So the essay is 60 points, the reading is 20 points, and the short answer is 20 points. Make sure you do the reading, make sure you know the reading, you'll get the reading on the exam like you have over the course of the year. You don't have the essay question in advance, but I will reveal here that the broad topic of the essay has to do with the Holocaust. Okay, so the broad topic of the essay has to do with the Holocaust. I'm not going to tell you what the specifics are, but the broad topic has to do with the Holocaust. So as you're preparing, and I'm sure you haven't given as much time as you'd like to studying and giving the other finals, you may want to focus on that. Okay. And then the short answer are from a range of different things that we talked about over the course of the second half of the year. There's questions on the lead up to World War I and World War I itself. There are questions on World War II. There are questions on all different topics, Holocaust, Israel stuff. Okay, in both the second and the third parts, you'll get a choice. In the second part, you have a choice of 4 out of 6. In the second and the third part, you have a choice of 4 out of 10. Okay, and so then each question is worth in parts 2 and 3. Each question is worth 5 points. Okay, so again, obviously the majority of the points are going to be in the Holocaust. In the essay, which is on Holocaust. So that's where you want to focus your attention. Again, the focus of the when I thought of the exam, if the exam, if it's 40 minutes, a 40-minute exam, you're expected to answer 8 questions. 4 questions from the reading, 4 questions from short answer. In the final, you should spend the additional 15 minutes in a regular time test on the essay, which is what I had planned for you guys to do. Sorry, which is the plan for the exam. So the final, you have the 50 extra minutes should be given to the essay to prepare it and to write it. Obviously, it doesn't need to be perfect. It does ask you to craft a thesis statement, but it's a thesis that and it's on a issue that we've discussed in the context of the Holocaust. Okay, so that's something that you should think about as you're preparing for the exam. The short answer questions again are broad enough so that it'll give you latitude to answer them. It doesn't ask you to define a certain term, but it'll ask you to think about certain terms and ideas in broader contexts. That's what you should be thinking about. Let's take some questions. Okay. Do we need to know about the Holocaust? What do we know about the Holocaust? Let's know about the Holocaust. So we need to know what we talked about in class. We need to know the functionalist and intentionalist debate. We need to know the evidence presented on that. We need to know the lead up to the Holocaust. And then you need to go through your friends, your classmates' presentations and get the parameters of what they researched and what they discussed. In terms of knowing the details of that, my expectations are not that you're going to know every exacting detail that everyone else researched. You should know your own topics fairly well, which I assume you do. In terms of your classmates' research, you should know the general parameters of what they discussed. You don't need to know everything of what they discussed. In terms of the interwar period, you should you should read through the materials that everyone provided and everyone constructed about the interwar period. You should know those. Those short encyclopedia articles that your classmates put together. So that's what you should know about for the exam. So yes, if you see on the review sheet. The review sheet includes the specific topics that you should know. In terms of the interwar period, the topics here are the global economic depression, fascism, Russia, cultural revolutions, China, Japan, India, post-World War I, Africa. Okay, so those are the materials that you should be reading through, and the materials that your classmates created. Okay, good. That's it for questions. No more questions. So we're done. 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes. Okay, yay, we're done. Oh, Abby has a question. What are Max Weber and Alexander arguing about in terms of what the Holocaust is? So we used Weber and Alexander to introduce the Holocaust and to present the tension that exists in the Holocaust between studying the Holocaust as something that is objective, that's something that's specific in a particular moment in time, which is what Max Weber is talking about. I compare that to, sorry guys, I'm tired too. I'm sure you guys are even more tired. But that's what finals does to you. Not a great thing. But anyway, so we compared what Weber says to Alexander, and Alexander talked about the Holocaust as this event that is born in specific circumstances, born in a specific context, but it actually and should be thought of, or has taken on the air of becoming so much bigger than something that's uniquely Jewish, and it has become the paradigmatic example of tension, and the paradigmatic example of terror that exists. And so the Holocaust has become that much greater. And so we viewed it as so how do we as a community who are A, historians, but B, part of the Jewish community, how do we then view the Holocaust? How do we study the Holocaust? Is it something that we can study in objective terms, like Weber describes, or is it something that we should view as part of our own community and study it differently in that regard? And that's the tension that we explored, that we talked a little bit about with Weber and Alexander. Okay. Do China, Japan, and India relate to what was going on in the Western world during the interwar period? To some degree, yes. India, China, and Japan do, because while they are not they're not specifically part of the Western world, the Western world does have interests in these places. India obviously is ruled by Britain. China and Japan had been colonized to some degree, but Western European nations had interests in those part of the world. Africa certainly, there are European interests there. So yes, China, Japan, and India do relate to what's going on in Western Europe. Okay. From the era, should we know how Jews are treated in each country during the interwar period? Yes. You should go through the presentations again. I'm not expecting you to know every single detail. I'm not expecting you to remember every single detail from every single country, but you should know the broad parameters of each place. I'm not with the essay. I'm not in particular, and even with the short answers. Yes, I want some level of detail, and there's always this fuzzy line, and it's hard to put it into exact terms. But I'm not looking for. I don't need you to be telling me every single exact detail. I'm not expecting you to remember everything. I'm trying to. What I want to see is you being able to synthesize the material together to provide some level of detail. I can't expect the same exact level of detail that I do on other assignments. Okay, that's a general rule on a test, and especially a final, and that's not what I'm looking for on a final. Okay. What are the different ways to define the Holocaust? We looked at three. We looked at the Holocaust Museum in America. We looked at the Holocaust. We looked at the Yad Vashem, and we looked at the memorial. We looked at the Imperial War Museum. So the difference, and this is the key difference between them, and I'm not going to go through each definition again, because again, I don't want to reteach everything that we went through. The key differences between them are the fact that is the question of how do we define the Holocaust? Do we define the Holocaust as something expansive, or do we define the Holocaust as something that's much more focused? When does the Holocaust start in 1933, or does the Holocaust begin in 1942? Does the Holocaust include just Jews, or is the definition of the Holocaust something much broader and something much bigger? So in terms of that, you should, in terms of the definition of the Holocaust, it can be either expanded to a much larger definition to include Jews and non-Jews that was affected. It could start in 1933. You could take a much more expensive approach, or you could take a much more limited approach into a much more focused approach. Yad Vashem is very focused in what it and how it defines the definition of the Holocaust in terms of being the Jews, in terms of its time frame. It's much more focused. Okay. Why did Russia withdraw from World War I, and what effect did that have on Germany? For factual material, guys, I would go to the textbook and to read the textbook. The textbook actually, for as much as it doesn't do, it does actually provide a good sense of the chronology. I would just say Russia withdraws from World War I because of its own revolution. It's pretty simple. And what effect did it have on Germany? It gave Germany land, and it allowed them to focus on the Western Front. What effects did World War II have? I'm not going to go into that because that's in part the reading. I'm not going to go through the reading with you guys. So I feel I'm not going to answer that question. Okay. How much in detail do we have to know Israel history? You should know what your classmates presented, and the presentations are up on Haiku. Okay. For the essay, do we need an intro or a conclusion? No, you need a short intro and you need a short conclusion. The introduction can be uh, two or three sentences plus the thesis. And the conclusion is there to wrap everything up and to bring everything together. The point of the or the essay, the essay again is on the Holocaust, and with the essay, you're going to be able to draw material from both what we discussed in class. You can draw material from your own project, and you can draw material from other people's projects. The goal is for you to be able to draw from a lot of different sources. So you can draw from your own projects. You can draw from what we talked about in class. You can draw from what your classmates created and crafted and presented. So there's something that you can draw on from that. Okay. Okay. Oh, game 7 tonight. I forgot. Ooh, big game. Wow. Totally forgot about that tonight. Bruins are going to win tonight, by the way. That's what I think. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking about hockey. Yeah. Not basketball. Bruins win 4-1. I'm gonna say 3-2. I think it's gonna be closer. I think it's gonna be closer tonight. I don't think it's gonna be 4-1. But we will see. Let's see, it's on NBC, right? There we go. Okay. Who's anonymous in here? Who's anonymous? Okay. Let's see. Why is Hitler give a PR speech on the Nuremberg laws? Well, I think the speech that he gives is it's an interesting one because he's justifying Nuremberg and he's justifying Nuremberg as a way of protecting the Jews, and that's the speech that he gives. He's saying that it's necessary in order to protect the Jews, and that's why he said there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of violence. He wants to protect the Jews, and that's why he's being passed. Okay. How was Wannsee a turning point? Well, Wannsee was a turning point because it cemented the final solution, created the final solution. There you go. Or the final solution was the final solution wasn't created, but it was cemented and it was agreed upon. What was the Munich Peace Conference? By the way, who is anonymous? Who's on this as anonymous? Anyway, okay. Let's see. What was the Munich Peace Conference? That was the goal. That was the attempt to try to find a resolution. It was suggested by Mussolini to try to find a resolution to appease Hitler and his desire to achieve greater German hegemony and control in Europe, to provide the Lebensraum, provide the living space for Germany. It was called by Mussolini, and it was the goal ultimately was to in September of 38 to provide a sort of final path for Hitler to achieve what he wanted to, and that was gaining the Sudetenland and getting more land. Okay, in order for Germany to achieve Lebensraum, to achieve living space in Europe. Okay, that's what was initially agreed to. That's what Chamberlain thought was going to be the final agreement, and ultimately, obviously, it failed. What were the other causes of World War II besides the Treaty of Versailles? I think a lot of the how is Chara playing tonight? I don't get it. How is he even playing this entire series? Unfreaking believable. Anyway, sorry. Back to important stuff here. So the a lot of the causes of World War II stem from the Treaty of Versailles, and so the economic downfall, the ability for the rise of fascism, the rise of new forms of government. A lot of it all stems from the Treaty of Versailles. That there's a reason why the Treaty of Versailles is called a failed peace, right? There's a reason why feather hockey is the best to watch. There's a reason why it's called a failed peace. It's called a failed peace because it ultimately leads to everything else ultimately failing. Okay. Okay. Why did Wilson's 14 points fail? Well, remember the United States Senate fails to ratify the Treaty of Versailles, and a lot of the Treaty of Versailles codifies Wilson's 14 points, and so there was no U.S. involvement. So there was little teeth in terms of the treaty, what the treaty was able to actually provide for the rest of the world. Okay. How depth do we actually need to know the wars? What are we talking about in class? I'm not gonna the wars itself, the actual wars itself are not. We barely talked about it in terms of we talked about a couple of key things, but what's important is the rise to and the consequences of the different conflicts of different wars. What was the Weimar Republic? We talked about the Weimar Republic. I think it was Dr. Sklar who talked about the Weimar Republic more in detail. But anyway, the Weimar Republic was the government following the end of World War I. It's a German government following World War I. It was a government, at least in theory, was a good idea, provided it had a constitution and provided for voting, for the vote for everybody. It provided for free and open elections, and that's how the Nazis were able to take control, basically, through open and fair elections. And that's how they were able to gain popularity and actually win seats in the German parliament and the Reichstag, and that's how they were able to gain power. Well, one way they were able to gain power. Okay. What was Roosevelt's involvement in the Holocaust? We didn't talk about that. We talked about the reaction to Kristallnacht, the reaction to the German conquest of Austria. But yeah, that was really it. Okay. Why did the U.S. Great Depression have an effect on Germany? For a couple of reasons. First of all, the depression was a worldwide depression, so the effect wasn't just on Germany; it was on many other countries. And because through the Dawes Plan, the U.S. economy was so much tied to Germany. The U.S. was giving Germany money. The economy of the U.S. was very much tied to Germany. So, as a result of that, when the U.S. economy failed, the German economy failed. The ripple effect failed. I would also say because it was a crisis of banking, that was an international crisis. There was no credit that governments could get throughout all over Europe, and so that's what also led to the downfall in Germany. Okay. Does post-World War ever have an effect on the start of World War II? Yes. Look at the connection with imperialism there. I'm not going to go into the details. Okay. Should we read the primary and secondary sources on haiku, or just know that they say and how it relates to the bigger ideas? You could read them. You should read them probably. But I'm not expecting you to know them in exacting and specific detail. You should be able to at least reference what they have to say and the broad ideas that they're talking about. Okay. What was the crisis in the Balkans leading to World War One? I'm not going to go through that entire history. That you can read in both the textbook as well as the reading that you had as part of the first assignment that we did at the very beginning of the second semester, connecting the 19th century to the 20th century. There was an article there was a reading from an AP textbook on all of the events leading up to the First World War. I'm not going to go into detail with all of those, and I'm just going to go reread those that textbook. Anyway, okay. Let's see. Where do the functionalists and intentionalists differ on the nature, origins, and goals of the Holocaust? Abby, can you edit that question a little bit? I'm not really sure what you are saying there, so can you just edit that a little bit? When studying, should the main thing we focus the flow of history? Yes, correct, Gabrielle. Yes, when you are studying, focus on the flow of history and the big connections. That is a good way of thinking about this. So, I know it's the Holocaust, but what do you mean when you say in the nature, origins? I don't know. What do you mean by that? Try to. Interesting. Sorry, guys, just answering a couple of texts. Yes. Been on the history department Slack. Okay. Where do the functionalists and intentionalists differ? The intentionalists and functionalists differ on what the evidence basically says. What does the evidence say? Does the evidence say that Hitler had this plan from the beginning, or did it come from elsewhere? That's really the question. The question is, where does it come from? Does it come from the is the Holocaust something that came out of the mind of Hitler, that was put into place by Hitler, that he had planned starting in the 1920s? Where does that come from? And that's the question. The question is, where does this come from? Does it come from Hitler, or does it come from elsewhere? That's really the question that intentionalists and functionalists debate, and they go through the specific points of evidence. And you should know that article by Roscoe pretty well. Know the different kinds of arguments that they're presenting. Know that she's presenting. That in terms of the intentionalists and functionalists, know the kind of evidence they're using to support their claim. Think about what claims, what evidence is that evidence that we talked about, what evidence that other people in their presentations talked about. That's an important topic to know. Okay. Pre-Holocaust, was there more anti-Semitism in Eastern Europe or Western Europe? It's an interesting question, Gabrielle. I would say there are different kinds of anti-Semitism, and in Western Europe, the anti-Semitism was more below the surface. It was more latent, I guess, anti-Semitism. In the East, I think it was much more open and much more on the surface than actually then much more open for people to see. In the West, it was bubbling from inside. It wasn't this overt anti-Semitism. I think that exists more so in the East. Okay, what does Lacour say on Zionism? That the state of Israel comes about as a result of the Holocaust. That's it. I can't believe I remember all this stuff. It's pretty crazy. I would love to see what I would get on my own test. That would be fun. Okay. That would be fun to do. So, yeah, anyway. Okay. So, let's see. Take another question in a minute. Anyway, okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. Why would the British mandate want to relent control of Palestine? Simply because they were done. They had been in control for 20 years. They had lost a lot of people. They weren't getting anything out of it. They wanted to leave, and they were trying to find the best way to leave and the easiest way to leave. Okay. So Yalla, Maud, Maud. Maud, no, Yalla. What else, ladies and gentlemen? What else? Wouldn't it be great if the test was just canceled now? That'd be great. Right? That'd be great if we just canceled the final. Or would you guys be angry that you studied so much and you put all this work in and now you don't have to study for the final? I can't decide the answer to that question. I'm not really sure. Okay. What were the political factors that made Zionism gain so much traction? It was a combination of realization of anti-Semitism. It was a realization of self-determination, connections with nationalism. More so the connections with nationalism, the connections that Jews deserved a home of their own, especially with political Zionism and the historic connection that Jews had with the land. And once the British put their weight behind that, then it became, or at least in the eyes of the international community, it became an accepted notion, an accepted reality that Jews deserve to have a home for themselves in Palestine. Whether that meant a state is a separate question, but they deserve to have a home for themselves. Okay. Good. What else is there, guys? What else is there? Ooh. What else is there? We're getting to the 35-minute mark. Anything else? Seems like you guys are ready. Okay. I guarantee if you guys took the test now, you guys would do well. That's my guarantee. Maybe we should do that. I should just email the test to you guys, and you guys can take it now. What do you think? I think it's a great idea. What are the major events that happened in 1950? I don't know what that means. Hi, Abby. How are you? You know, Abby, hello is spelled with 2 L's, right? You do know that, right? Yes. Okay. I don't understand the question. What are the major? Yes. No. You can repeat the question, but 1950, where, when? I don't know what you're talking about. Good shot. Okay. What primary sources we need to know? Everything that we covered in class. Everything that we covered in class. Yeah. It's a good sense of it. Okay. Hi, Aiden. How are you? We can put on some music and listen to some music. Should we do that? Should we play Guess the Song? Okay. I think that's a good idea. Let's play Guess the Song. Yeah? Fun fact, Aiden is at a WNBA game. Really? Okay. That's interesting. Okay. How do we have to know the arguments about what caused the state of Israel? I mean, you have to know what it is. I'm not gonna ask you to. Oh, wow, what a save! I'm not gonna ask you to provide. I may ask you to state a thesis or to state your own thesis and provide evidence to support that. That's what I may ask. You'll see. Okay. All right, let's listen to some music and see if you guys can figure it out. Okay. This should be an easy one. Okay. Are you giving us the reading on the test? Oh, the reading. Yeah. You have to name the song and the band. Okay. By the way, okay. How does India lead to the outbreak of World War II? It really has to do with the relationship between imperialism and the end of imperialism and World War II. That's what it is. And colonialism. Okay. Any guesses? Can you guys hear the music? No guesses so far. Yeah, Blues Glow. He's playing out of his mind. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Devin Sharp. All I Want. Yeah, it's the name of the band though. Who's the band? Come on, the name of the band. What happened in the 19? Oh, thank you. Good. All right. Thank you. Devin wins the first question. Okay. Excellent. Let's go on to something more difficult. Okay. Devin used Siri. Let's go on to something a little more different, guys. What do you think? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Colonialism and imperialism ended after World War One. No, not really, Gabrielle. It doesn't. Take a look again. Okay. Take a look again because it doesn't. That's the thing. Okay. Take a look at to see if it really does. Okay, because it doesn't. So keep that in mind. Okay. Hey, live stream. Say hi.
Hey.
Want to say hi?
Hello, Kinder.
You okay?
I'm fabulous.
Okay.
Stairs are totally my jam.
You want to say hi?
Who are we talking to?
10th grade.
Oh, sophomores.
Sophomores. Okay.
Huh.
Aiden Morgenstern is asking if you can steal the test for us.
Me? Guys, I'm totally the right person to steal it for you.
Yes, exactly. That's nice. Thanks, Devin.
Hey, Devin. What's up? Also, Aiden Morgenstern, your mom was my counselor. Like,
You didn't answer his question, though.
I can't answer it. I'm not that intellectually dependent on things. What are you guys learning?
You guys didn't get this song, by the way.
Oh, did we name that tune?
Yeah. Sorry? No, you know the music. No. You know all the music.
American Pie?
What? No.
No.
First of all, it's Hebrew.
I'll give you a clue.
No. They don't need a clue, okay? This song is bad. Ooh.
Guys, you want to be on his good side.
It's anonymous, though. Okay. That's awesome. No, this doesn't sound like American Pie at all. What are you talking about?
Oh, talk about Kenan.
Oh my gosh.
Like that,
No. Okay. I'm gonna stop the music for a minute. Okay, let's look at some questions here.
Sounds familiar.
Okay. Can we go over information? I don't know what that means. Can we please go over information? What does that mean to go over information? Okay. Imperialism ends with the Suez Crisis. Yes, John, you're right. In terms of Egypt, it does. You're absolutely right. In terms with Britain, it absolutely does. And during the period of the interwar period.
Sorry, this is very intriguing to me.
India is certainly. Okay. Okay. See you.
Guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I got your data.
Bye, Jess. Anyway, so again with India, it's very much it's still part of imperialism. Britain trying to retain its empire, and remember, Britain gains land as a result of World War I, right? Because they're given the mandates for Palestine, they're given the mandates for Jordan. They actually become an even greater power in the interwar period. So imperialism and colonialism is still very much part of the game in the interwar period. Sorry. That's the ring. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Are the short answer questions the final similar types of questions in the previous tests? Yes, similar. Okay. What did the Suez Crisis show other nations? That Israel was, of course, to be reckoned with, basically. Okay. American Pie is a great movie. Oh, no. Hey, what are you talking about? It's so sad. No. Okay, how does the Treaty of Versailles reject the 14 points? No, I didn't say reject. The Treaty of Versailles incorporates a lot of the 14 points. But the United States rejected the Treaty of Versailles. So once it rejected the Treaty of Versailles, it rejected many of the 14 points that it includes, including the League of Nations. Okay. You never saw American Pie? I did see American Pie when I was in high school. It was a terrible movie. It's still a terrible movie. I don't know why you think American Pie is a good movie. Okay, what does appeasement mean in terms of the causes of World War II? It's not. If I watch Dunkirk, am I good for the final? Yes. If you watch Dunkirk and the finest hour, then yes, you're totally fine for the final. You don't even need to study. Okay. Okay. Does appeasement mean in terms of the cause of World War II? Appeasement was the goal to try to give Germany what it wanted, specifically what Hitler wanted, and just giving Hitler more and the thinking that giving him more would stop him, but also Britain and France, and Britain mostly felt bad about the Treaty of Versailles, so Chamberlain decided that this was the best possible option, and ultimately Hitler doesn't stop at what he gets; he wants more, and that's why the Second World War begins. Okay. What happened to splendid isolation? Splendid isolationism. It goes away. That's a good answer, I think. Let's put on another song. Okay, let's see if you guys can get this. The write a paper on Chernobyl can I get out of the final? No, it's a great question though. Okay. Okay, this comes from one of my favorite bands. Okay. Okay. Mr. Comfort okay, next. Let's see. Gush Emunim was the popular religious Zionist movement that advocated for Israel's sovereignty in the Golan Heights, in Gaza, and in the West Bank. Gush Emunim is basically responsible for settlements in the Golan, in Gaza, and in the West Bank. Okay, and it comes really in the heels of the Six-Day War after Israel conquers the Golan, after it conquers Sinai, after it conquers the Golan Heights, the Gaza. That's the movement. Okay. Okay. Write a paper on Chernobyl. Yeah, good. It's good. Okay. What if I analyze the things I got wrong? Could it count? Don't worry about that. Okay. Anyone guess the song? No. It's kind of sad. Okay. What led to the first Intifada? What led to the second Intifada? Look back at the presentations. It's all covered there. Okay. Here. Where is Mikey tonight? Where is Mikey tonight? He should be on there. Okay. Mr. Anonymous. Let's see. For the what keyed to the first, what led to the first Intifada, what led to the second Intifada? Look at the presentations. Thank you, Abby, for that for that comment. Yes, I figured it out. My reasons, my deductive reasoning is pretty spot on. Okay. No one's guessing the song. Wow. Wow. That was a good shot. Oh, it was great. Great shot. That was great. Great deflection. Wow. Okay, no one got the song, so sorry guys. No one gets the song, the live stream is going to end. You have 50 seconds. It's up to you guys. But the live stream to continue gets the song. Okay. Yeah, I'll play a little more. This is Lake House Aiden. Lake House by who? It's nice to use the to get the which app are you using to guess it? Of Monsters and Men, yes. It is of Monsters and Men. we are going to see the Monsters and Men. I think they're playing in September. We're going to go see them, I think, at Carnegie Hall of all places, which is pretty crazy. But anyway, yeah, I love the Monsters and Men. They're great. Yeah, there you go. You guys should know about the Monsters and Men. They're fantastic. They're really fun. They're really great. You played at Carnegie Hall, John? Really? That's cool. I have not. Okay. You know of Mice and Men? Yes, I know Mice and Men also. This is a Monsters and Men. Anyway. Okay. What was the Nazi-Soviet non-aggression pact? They basically agreed not to attack each other and divide up Poland in half following Germany's attack on September 1st, 1939. And then Hitler goes back on that in the summer of 1941 in Operation Barbarossa. Do we need to know the only specific battles we need to know, or what we talked about in class, or what you read in the textbook? Is there just going to be one essay question or a couple that we can choose from? There will be one essay question. That is it. That is it. Okay. What is the progression of anti-Semitism in Germany? No, Abby, I'm not going through that. That took us 4 days in class to do. 3 days in class. I'm not going to go through that. Okay. Okay. What does appeasement mean? I answered that question. In terms of World War II, I answered that. Okay. Is this essay question going to be really broad? Yes. The essay question is there for you to be able to use material from class, for you to use material that you researched, and to use material that you and that other people researched. Okay. That's what you guys. There's enough there. Okay. Do we have to quote stuff? Okay. I do not expect for you guys to quote stuff. You guys should give me ideas, but I'm not expecting quotes. Okay. How does the Holocaust lead to the formation of the state of Israel? It doesn't. Sorry, Abby. Next question. Or does it? I don't know. Can we have a hint about what, Mira? Brexit. Yeah, actually, most of the test is on Brexit. Yes, exactly. Yep. Gosh, I hate finals. I really do. It drives everybody out of their minds. It drives everyone crazy. It really does. If you guys are going to be spending all day tomorrow studying this information, all day racking your brains, and by tomorrow night, you guys are going to be so stressed. You're going to be losing your mind. You're going to be sending emails. Dr. Zadovs, we need to know this. We need to know this. You're going to be texting each other. You're going to be on a group chat, talking to each other. Do we need to know this? I don't know this. What's going on? You guys, and by the time we get to Friday morning, you guys are going to be above your heads. You're going to be crazy. Okay, literally above your head. So anyway, check my email. What does my email say? I don't see anything on my email. Okay, yeah. So I feel bad for you guys. The essay question is going to be broad, but it's going to be. If we all agree to a 90, can we not take the test? No, sorry. I would no. That's not the case. Okay. We only need to study 40% of the stuff because we get to choose 4 out of 10. That's true. You do get to choose 4 out of 10, but that's assuming that there is an equal number of questions on everything that we covered over the course of the second half of the year. So if you want to take that risk, fine, go ahead, try that, see what happens. I'm not sure if that really is going to bear fruit or not. Okay. Is the final easy? I don't know what that means in the final. Okay. If I took the final now, I would do really well on it. That's all I have to say. I'm just saying. But it's so antithetical to what we do over the course of the year, right? Like we ask you guys to think, we ask you guys to work together, we ask you guys to collaborate together, and then on this test, you're sitting there by yourself, working in a pressurized environment. It's going to count for 20% of your grade. it's really tough. It's a lot of pressure on you guys. It really is. So, is the final easy? I don't know. What's easy? What's not easy? I don't know what easy is. Oh, wow. Whoa. My gosh. That came out of nowhere. Boston is getting its behind kicked right now. Oh, my gosh. Wow. That should not have happened. Wow, that should not have happened. Okay. Aren't essays supposed to be well thought out pieces of writing? Yeah, they're supposed to be. I know, I agree. Yeah, I was wrong too, John. It's okay. They are supposed to be well thought pieces of writing, but we feel like on a final, this is what we have to give to you guys. So I don't know. I'm not. It's something to explore. Something to explore next for next year what we do. But hey, at least for next year, you guys in U.S. history, you're not going to be taking the AP, so you don't have to worry about just preparing for that. That's something that is a good idea. Can we take a Chavrusa final? Yeah, I like that idea. I had a final like that in college. It was great. It was a team. It was a team final. Yeah, I know. I love it. When I was in college, my last final in college was a timed team final. It was great. We had a great time. Loved it. I know. I think it's a good idea. You can collaborate with other people. You can work with other people. I think it's a good idea. I think we should do that. I think it's a little late now to plan that. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen now. Sorry. No, don't bring back English. You can take the test if you want to. No one's going to stop you. No one's going to stop you from taking the AP exam. 20% is way too much. It's one test. It is too late. Yeah, sorry. That's not going to happen. I wish. But I do like the idea, though, of doing a Chavrusa kind of final. I think it's a good idea. All right. Any other substantive questions? If we do bad, is it still weighted as 20%? So teachers are told that if you guys are doing well over the course of the year and you do terribly in a final, that then teachers have the option to weight a little bit less. Okay. Can we cheat? No, absolutely not. You may not cheat. But thank you for asking that question because it's important to clear that up. No, you may not cheat. Did Mussolini start fascism? Yes, fascism is really born out of Italy. Correct. All right. Any other substantive questions? Okay. Okay, so between Sophia, Leah, and Abby, and definitely not look at their tests. Just FYI, the oh my gosh, seriously, wow. Hello, Kayla. Hello, Lisa. How are you guys? This is fun. Remember, extended time students are not with regular time students. Okay. Do we have mind maps in the final? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do have mind maps in the final. Yes. These guys don't know. The current class don't know what mind maps are. It's a shame. Okay. We should have done them this year. Next year, I think we're going to try to bring it back. Yes, the Heil project is going to be on the test. Yes. Okay. For next year, if we take the AP, do we get out of the final? I don't think so. We haven't talked about that yet. I think the answer is no because the AP is going to be on your own prerogative. It's going to be done by yourself. We're not teaching towards it. Okay. Can we discuss information on the final? What does that mean? No, these are not freshmen. These are juniors. Okay, these are juniors. What does mean discuss information on the final? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Am I going to tell you pieces of information on the final? No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not. Sorry. We're having other discussions, and I need to study. Are there other questions? 500,000 views and no final? Sure, why not? 500,000 views, guys, no final. Okay. Okay, can we bring notes? No, you may not bring notes. You may not bring notes. I know, I'm sorry, Kayla, you're not a freshman. Yeah, they shouldn't. Why is Charles Barkley on the intermission break on the Stanley Cup Finals? What are they doing? Yes, no, bringing notes would be helpful. I know. Yes, I get it. Yeah. What's my favorite movie? Probably A Few Good Men. Big fan of Aaron Sorkin. Okay. Yeah. Where's the coffee? No coffee tonight. I had coffee already, and no coffee tonight. I'm sorry. I had coffee earlier today. I had coffee at like 4:30. So yes, that was the school play. Yes, it was written by Aaron Sorkin as a play, and then it became a movie. Okay. Any other questions? Social Network is Sorkin's best, though. Social Network is very good. I happen to think that Social Network, and other people think I'm nuts, but I think Social Network is the best movie of this decade. I do. You guys are think I'm crazy, but I think Social Network is the best movie of this decade. Yeah. It's a great movie. It's well written, it's well acted. It's really well done. Okay. Can we hang out after school's over? Sure, absolutely. Inception is good. I like Inception. Nothing wrong with Inception. The dialogue in the screenplay is not like Social Network. It's just not. What happens with That's Barbecue? I don't know. You guys didn't plan it. Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Just give me a date. Just give me a date. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do the barbecue. I really am. Can we watch a movie with our class from last year? No. No. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Okay. If there aren't any other substantive questions, then I am going to sign off so I can grade freshman finals. I have like 16 more to grade. Then I'm done. And I need to finish them before I get your tests on Friday. So, what is my favorite kind of Zionism? I like all the Zionisms. Hello, Ariella. Welcome to the live stream. I'm in your class next year. Awesome, fantastic. You missed Jessica before. She was on the live stream before. You missed her before. It was fun. The sophomores could talk about it. Okay, but we are done for the night, guys. Thank you very much. If you have questions, you can send me emails. I will try to get to them. Okay, I'll try to answer them. And I will see you guys on Friday. Good luck studying. Don't go crazy studying, guys. I know I'm gonna say that. I know you guys are gonna do it anyway. I know you guys are going to be up basically from now until Friday morning studying, but don't go crazy. Get a good night of sleep tonight. It was a long day today. We had finals. We had this. I'm going to miss you too next year. But hey, maybe I'll be teaching juniors next year. We'll see. But get a good night of sleep tonight. Wake up refreshed tomorrow so you can study, spend the day as much as you can studying. And have a good night, guys. I will see you guys on Friday. See you.